Welcome, students. How are you? Hope you all are fine. So, today we will start the first lesson, that is A Wrong Man in Workers' Paradise, written by Rabindranath Tagore. Let me start by reading. The author begins the story by describing the man who never believed in any simple functionality. He had no useful work to do, so he involved himself in making sculptures and painting, and thus he wasted his time and all that was useless, needless. Some boys rarely opened their books and yet passed their tests. So, the author here begins the story by telling us that there was a man who never believed in doing any functional work. So, he had no useful work, so that he involved himself in making sculptures. Making sculptures in nothing but making pots and painting. And thus, he wasted his all the time in such useful works. There were some boys who rarely opened their books, which means who rarely studied, but they still passed. But this boy never passed any test. He wasted his earth life, and after his death, the gates of heaven were still wide open to him. But by the mistake of the person that was in charge, found him a place in workers' paradise. So, this boy, he died. So, after his death, the gates of heaven were still open to him. Even after not doing anything useful on earth, the heaven was still open for this boy. But the in charge of heaven found him a place which was workers' paradise. In this paradise, you find everything except leisure. The author is telling us that the place that is workers' paradise. Here, you can find everything except leisure. Leisure is nothing but free time. Here, men and women never spared a moment to waste. But this newcomer, who had passed all his life on earth without doing a scrap of useful work, did not fit in with the scheme of things in workers' paradise. So, in this place, that is the paradise, the men and women, they never wasted their time. They were always indulged in any of work which is useful. But this man, never did a single work which was useful, not even in the earth and neither on the paradise. So, a bustling girl went every day to a silent torrent. The girl's movement on the road was like the rapid movement. This idle man was standing beside the stream. The girl felt pity for this man as he had no work to do. So, the place where he lived, that is the workers' paradise, there was a girl. She every day went to the silent torrent. Here, the silent torrent is nothing but a stream or a river that flows silently. This girl every day went there to collect water in her jugs. So she saw this man who was idly standing there. And as you all know, the men and women were involved in any of the works, but this man was idly standing there. So she felt pity as this man had no work to do. She cried with concern and asked the man if he is willing to do any work. But the idle man replied that he did not have a moment to spare for work. But the girl didn't understand his words and told him that she would lend some work if he wills. But the man replied he wanted to paint the pictures she carried. So this girl saw the man standing beside the stream and she felt pity, so she asked, "If you will, then I can lend you some work to do." But the man replied, "No, no, I don't have any time to do any work, but I would like to paint the pictures. Here, the pictures are nothing but the jugs that you carry. So, he said that he would like to paint the pictures. The girl found it useless, but the man every day insisted to paint one of her pictures, so the girl of Torrent agreed. So, the girl found it very useless thing, but the man, he was like insisting, like he asked her like regularly to paint her picture, but the girl refused it. But one day she agreed it and gave the picture to him to paint. When he had completed his work, the girl held up the picture and stared at its sides, her eyes puzzled. So the man gave him the picture that he had painted. Here you can see that picture. She was amazed after seeing. Her eyes were puzzled. She had seen such thing in that paradise after a while. She asked, "What do they mean, all those lines and colors? What is their purpose?" He replied, "Nothing. It served no purpose and has no meaning." So this girl asked the boy that the lines and the colors that he has done on the pictures, what do they mean, and what is the use of those lines and colors on the pictures? The boy replied, "No, it had no meaning and had no purpose." The girl went away with her picture. She held it in the light, turned it round, and scanned the painting from all angles. This was the first time when she found something which had no meaning and is useless. So, this thing had never happened in that paradise, but this girl found it very useless. So, she took the picture and she started scanning it again and again because she had never seen such useless thing before in the paradise. When she set out for the torrent the next day, her hurrying feet were a little less hurried than before. So every day, as I told you, that she used to hurry to the torrent, that is the river, to take the water. But this time, her feet were slowed down as she was always busy in looking after the pictures. The idle man again asked for work this time. He made colorful ribbons for her, but the time was being unutilized as the girl started wasting her time in tying ribbons. Later, the aerial messenger realized that many workers were diverted by this man, and other workers also turned to be lazy. So, what this man did? He again asked the girl for more work, and this time he made colorful ribbons for her so that she can tie in her hair. But the time was being not utilized by the girl as she got interested in tying the ribbons and the colorful pictures, so she started wasting her time. And he also diverted other workers in such useless things, and other workers also turned lazy. The elders became anxious. A meeting was called. The aerial messenger hurried in, bowed before the elders, and made a confession. "I brought a wrong man into this paradise," he said. "It is all because of him." So, all the elders in the paradise were anxious to know why is this happening? Why all the workers are turning to be lazy? So, what did they do? They called a meeting and the aerial messenger, a person who was in charge of the paradise. He came, he bowed before the elders and made a confession. He said that he has brought a wrong man into the workers' paradise. He said all the workers are turning to be lazy because of this idle man. So they all together took a decision. The decision was taken by the elders that man would be summoned and asked him to leave the place. So the decision taken was They asked him to leave the place. The man took a relief and agreed to leave and packed his stuff, but the girl stopped him as she wanted to leave with him. So, as you all know, this idle man never liked working, but it was a worker's paradise, and the elders decided that he had to leave the place. But the man was very happy as he was leaving the place which was not fit for him. But the girl, which was not idle before, now turned to be lazy and she decided to leave the place with the man. Aerial messengers and other elders were shocked as this was the thing that ever happened in Workers' Paradise, a thing that had no meaning and had no purpose at all. When they saw that the girl also was ready to leave the place with the idle man, all the elders were shocked because this thing had never happened in the Workers' Paradise. This thing had no meaning and no purpose at all. I hope you all understood the lesson. Stay home, stay safe.